Now, if you're a woman who is trying to glow up, this is the episode for you. I had Kyra here. She's just so amazing and she's so lovely. And she talks a lot about community and knowing your why and where you're going and just being you and showing up as authentically as you can and being a woman who is really out here trailblazing. I love this conversation and I know that you will too, especially if you want to level up your game in 2025. So let's go. What's up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And I'm so excited. I like this woman so much. So today's guest is Kyra. She's a lifelong dreamer. She's a marketer by day and the visionary founder of Glowup Girl. Now, I had the privilege to be on her podcast, so I know that she knows what she's doing. Okay, with over 20 years of experience in marketing and communications, from baby products to travel to apparel, Kyra's mission is to elevate women's voices, to help them discover the gift that brings their businesses' stories to life. And you know that this year, especially, I know 2024 was a big thing for storytelling. This year, even more, people are looking to know you. They're really looking to connect with you. And stories, that's the way to do it. Now, she's a wife, a fur mama, and an older sister to a big family. But above all, she's a champion of purpose-driven living. Now, if you're ready for that great dream tugging in your heart, Kyra is your girl. So let's dive in. Kyra, welcome to the show. How are you?
Woo! Hi, Nina. I'm so glad to be with you. Girl, I love that intro. I was just sitting here like, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm so glad.
but
I'm so glad you receive it too. That's a
I
beautiful
do.
thing.
I do.
Oh, so glad. It's really good to see you. I had such a beautiful conversation with you on your podcast. So I couldn't wait for our podcast today here on
Yes.
Straight Talk. And I'm really excited because what you do is what I like to talk about. And a lot of the people who listen to the show are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, coaches, things like that. And
Mhm.
they are always connecting with people on my show, which is what I love.
Awesome.
So let's get to know you, Kyra. Who are
Yes.
you? Who are
I mean, I think you said it best. Like, I am definitely a dreamer.
you?
I have probably always lived in an imaginary world my entire life. Even when I was younger, I always enjoyed the art of storytelling.
Mm,
Obviously, back then we weren't calling it storytelling, right? It was just like people were like, "You're just making up stuff,"
right.
right? But I have
I love it.
always tried to dream bigger than the space that I was in. And I feel like, it's not always a thing that people are comfortable with. People want you to keep your feet on the ground. And I'm very much someone who believes that, you shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars.
I love that.
And it's like, so that's what I've tried to do with creating Glow Up Girl, is to create this space for people who are like me, people who dream bigger than what their current situation tells them,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and to try to create this community and this space where they can learn from others. Because I feel like, I think you even mentioned it in our show and I loved it, where you said, there are people who have like already walked before you, so why
Mm-hmm.
don't we focus on connecting with those people? And that's what I really like to do with my podcast, is bring
Mm-hmm.
on people who have had the experiences. And the one thing I really enjoy is talking about, as much as I like talking about the highs, I like to hear what seemingly felt like it's not a low,
Yeah.
it's an opportunity.
Yes. Yes.
So, I just want to continue. And one of the affirmations I read daily for in 2025 is that I want to continue to be a space for women to feel safe, seen, and supported.
Hmm.
And if I'm
I
doing
love
that,
that.
I'm doing, I'm walking in the purpose that God has given me.
Right? Because when you're walking in the purpose that God has given you, it actually gets you up out of bed every day.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
when I was working at a job that I was stressed out and didn't really like and didn't think I was supposed to be there. And so it was a dredge getting out of bed all the time to do it, right? Because I didn't want to. And I didn't feel like it was my calling anymore, you know. But
Yeah.
when you feel like it's your calling, it does something different to you. You just get out of bed and
Yeah.
you start showing up for people, right? Even
Hmm.
through the frustrations, because we all have them,
Yeah.
you know. But I love that. And so I was reading your bio and you were talking about Uvolution, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah,
That's
Uvolution.
right.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about that because, you talk about Uvolution as a continuous act of becoming like
Hmm.
your best self, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So being that we have a lot of women that listen to this show, what do you think is the first step that someone should take like when they're ready to invest in their own transformation? They're
Mm.
ready to do the thing. What do you
Hmm.
think where should they start?
I would first start with, taking it old school to a journal. I would start with just like writing down, what does it look like? What
Mhm,
is the perfect life, or what you see as your perfect scenario? Because there's not a such thing as anything that's going to be perfect. So you look at it as like, how do I continue to evolve to keep being better? And what does that look like? And step one could just simply be, let me write down the dream.
mhm,
So I would start there, and then I would put it there and I would sit with it. And I would, if you've got people in your circle who you feel very, comfortable with sharing, I would share it. I would get, some feedback. And then you move to start to figure out, like, what are the steps I need to take to accomplish this? And the thing that I want to tell people is that you set the time limits. Don't try to work towards somebody else's time. Like, all of our timing and things that we're going to do are different. Like, you are only on your own schedule. And
yes,
if you are, I choose to speak about my faith because that is what I believe. So I'm definitely not trying to tell anyone what you should believe. But for me, it is always a conversation with God. Like, I'm gonna put this stuff out there. And I'm like,
yep,
okay,
yep,
God, like, if it's what you have for me, then
mhm,
I want for you to bless it. I want to know, give me the right connections, put the right people in my path. If it's not, please close the door. And the
mhm,
door, when it's closed, it doesn't feel good because Lord knows I've had numerous. I close doors closed, people don't answer, like, but I always feel like either it's not the right timing,
mhm,
it's not my blessing, might be meant for somebody else, or it's just not the right situation. And so you have to be okay with that. But I think you have to also become comfortable with being uncomfortable,
yeah, yeah,
and not, and when a no is just, it's just temporary. Like, it's just in that
yeah,
moment, because you could turn around an hour later and get like a yes from something that, you were like, oh my god, I forgot about that.
mhm,
So I would just say, like, write it down, sit with it, meditate on it, have some conversations, pray about it, and then figure out, like, then take the first step. Like,
yeah,
that's the most
action,
important. Like,
yeah,
don't
yeah.
don't get, what is it, an analysis by
Oh, analysis paralysis, yeah,
paralysis. Yeah,
yeah,
like, don't do that, because I know a lot of people who are like, well, I want to do this, I want to do this, and they never actually do anything. So, like, just take the first step, and
yes,
once you commit to the step, then the thing that you want to do will commit back to you. Because
mhm,
most times, like, we just put something out there and feel like the universe is just supposed to make happen.
mhm.
This happened because I said it. No, you got to take a step, and
So
it will
true.
give it will give back to you.
Yeah, I was talking to someone because I'm a woman of faith as well, and I really, I put God as the CEO of my business, right? So, when things are really tough, I'm like, okay, CEO, I need you now because I don't know if I'm taking a left or right. But what I don't do is stop producing. I just
Right.
keep going until He redirects my path. And
Hmm.
I think, one of the biggest mistakes I think we all make is because of fear or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Like I was speaking to someone and she said, I don't want to do something God doesn't want me to do. I said, "Well, how will you know until you do it?" Right?
Hmm.
If it's not immoral and it doesn't hurt anyone,
Right. Yeah.
go ahead and try it. And God will direct you. I mean, do you trust him? Yeah. Well, then do you trust him enough to know that he can actually direct your path? And she's like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay, so let's get over the
Yep.
overthinking, the going here
Yes.
and trying to like beat this thing like a dead horse." And meanwhile, God is saying, "Hello."
I
I'm
know.
like
Are you?
like 3 miles ahead of you and you're still
Yeah. It's
waiting
like,
for the
are you?
car to get out the driveway. Like, what are
Are
you
you? He's
doing?
like, are you gonna do anything? Like, what are you doing
Right.
here? And also, too, I want to say, like you mentioned, don't stop producing. Consistency. Be
Yes.
consistent, and that
Yes.
is that's another affirmation I read in the morning. Is that in 2025, I know that my consistency will be rewarded. All I
Yep.
have to do is try,
Yep. Yep. You
and
have to just
so
show up,
yeah,
Kyra. How are we gonna know about you if you don't?
yeah.
Right? I call that secret agent. I'm always telling somebody, I say, "Oh, you're a secret agent." They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Nobody knows about you. You're a secret agent." And they're like, "Oh, well." I'm like, "Exactly." So unless you're in the
Mhm.
FBI, CIA, or something like that, and you're trying to be a secret agent, how about
Mhm.
we let people know who you are, right? Because if they don't
Exactly.
know you, they don't
Mhm.
like you. If they don't like you, they don't follow you. If they don't follow you, you don't get paid. Because at the end of
Exactly.
the day, Kyra, right, what me and you are doing and what is happening in the world is that we are becoming very virtual sensed, right? I
Mhm.
love, now, don't get me wrong, I love one on one networking or networking with a group of people because that energy of human beings together
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
powerful.
Mhm.
But most of us have to do this, Kyra. It's not like we live next door to each other, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
for sure.
so just show up.
Yep.
Like get yourself on podcasts or go, do a live on YouTube. Who cares? Just be consistent, like Kyra says, and show up for yourself because
Mhm.
God ain't gonna come down here and record the video for you. I mean, come on. He has bigger things to fry right now.
Yeah, he's like, I was wait.
He's like,
I knew
I
you needed
created
this
you to do
videos.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I created you to do it. What you waiting for? So
Uh,
I mean, that's awesome because you have had many years in marketing, right? So
mhm.
what was that transition for you? Why did you change? Why go from like the marketing world and all that? What inspired you to take the leap to start creating Glowup Girl? Because one thing
Yeah.
is corporate, right? And one thing is your
Yeah.
own. And I want to know like this
Yeah.
beautiful platform that you have to amplify women's voices. Why?
Yeah. So I have always been probably like a lot of people listening, a serial entrepreneur. And I tried a couple, like more than a couple, I will say. But in 2019, I started going to therapy because I was working, working corporately. And when you're in corporate, and as a lot of women know, you're a person that is dependable and people count on you.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we get stressed and we're overwhelmed. And I remember, like, I started therapy that July. And I went because I was just like, oh my God, like I feel like there's so many things I have up in the air. I felt
Mm,
like that thing where you throw the balls in the air and you're just like running around
trying to
doing,
catch them.
trying to catch
Yeah.
them. And I felt that is what my life felt like. And I
Mm,
remember going to my first therapy session. To shout out to Dr. Corey, she's still my therapist today. Love
that's
her.
so good.
I remember she said, like, what do you hope to accomplish? Like, what are your goals here? And so I talked around in a circle about all these things. And meanwhile, I was kind of telling her about my life as we went. And she said, you just don't have any boundaries. And I was like, what? No, I mean, I want to help people. Like, people count on me. I don't like to let people down. And she was like, you don't have any boundaries.
Right?
And so I
You
was,
literally explained it.
yeah, she
Oh,
was
that's
like,
so funny.
again, I'm going to tell you, you don't have any boundaries. So I started my own process.
Mm,
And I started walking that path July till got to December, and people started to say little things like, "Oh, you just seem different." Like, I mean, like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, even at home, my husband was like, "Who are you?" Because you
I
have to
love
set
that.
boundaries like all around. So you've
Yeah.
got to set them like professionally, personally, like all around in your life. And I remember sitting at my table in December, just like most people do, right? You're thinking about the next year, what I want to accomplish. And I started thinking about like the conversations I was having with different women, like a lot of women I worked with who were like also like entrepreneurs, like workingpreneurs too. And a lot of people were saying, like they just didn't feel like they had a space to talk about the things that women were going through. I mean, like to talk about our experiences in the corporate place is like a whole nother conversation,
Yeah.
right? But it was like, and then on top of that, you're trying to build something, create something for yourself. And I just kept like sitting with that, and I started like tinkering like with the plan. And I started, and I just remember I was sitting at my kitchen table, and it was like right after Christmas, and I was trying to get all my ducks in order, and I heard the words glow up. And I looked around and went, what? I was like, okay, glow up. And I knew instantly what it meant, right?
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
we know in the world of like social, it means, one thing person used to look this way and now they're this way. But I immediately was like, it's that internal glow up. It's that glow up where you build confidence, where you build boundaries, where
Yeah.
you stand firm and you represent yourself. And so then Glowup Girl was born in December of 2019. And then fast forward 2020, it's like, oh, I'm gonna do like it's gonna be based on like these meetups, women coming together, connecting, being together, safe space. Well, then the pandemic happened, of course, and then I was like, okay, God, well, what do you want me to do now? How am I gonna bring this community to life? And let me just tell you, as a person of faith, when you ask, you have to be ready for the answer.
That's
Like,
right.
don't put it out there if you're really ready for him to tell you what to do. Because at the time, I don't know if I was exactly ready, but I asked, and that was like because I like soft launched the website in March, and I was going to do the first event in May. And so we were sort of creeping up on that time where it looked like we weren't going to be able to like
Mm-hmm.
be around people anytime soon. And so again, and I was in the shower at this point. So I get some of my best nuggets from God,
Yeah,
like
right?
when I'm
Me
in the
too.
shower.
I think he's like, this is the only time you are not watching TV, looking at your phone, like, yeah.
Yes. And I heard start a podcast. And I immediately was like, no, thank you. That is not something I am interested in.
Isn't that very interesting how we always tell God what we want to do and
Right.
what we don't want to
Now
do?
I just
Yeah.
asked. Yeah, he was like, now I just asked you, Joker. And now you up here
Right,
telling me
right,
about you not gonna
right.
do it. And I thought to myself, I said, well, I'm just saying, Lord, like I mean, like nobody wants to hear what I have to say. So all those things are like the imposter syndrome, the mean
Yeah, there
girl,
goes the
all the
Moses,
yeah,
Moses.
yes, all those
Yeah.
things started to tell me like why I shouldn't do it. And so I just took like I heard it, but I was like fighting it. And
Yeah.
then no matter where I went, he was not letting me by. He was like, "You gonna start that podcast? You gonna start the podcast?" And then eventually I said, I'm gonna start the podcast. And so then I spent April like just getting set up, trying to just figuring out like what to do, how to set it up. And in the beginning, it was very janky. I mean, it was
Of
real
course,
like
it's
it was
supposed
it
to
was
be. It's
it was
supposed to be.
it was audio only. I was recording from oh my god, I can't remember. It was like that of Anchor. I was using Anchor FM, and it was like I was doing it on my phone. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But I was asking people, that I knew who were like working, like either were workingpreneurs or people who had already like branched out and left their corporate jobs. So I was just that my first 9 episodes were like me interviewing people almost that I knew or somebody that knew
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
And I remember getting to that 10th episode, and at the time I wasn't even doing like video yet. But I remember the 10th episode was I had been watching I don't know, and please don't judge me. I was watching The Bachelor. Or
Girl, I
the I
watched The
think the
Bachelor too.
I
I
think
ain't
the
judging you.
I think I was looking at the Bachelorette, and it was like Mike, the guy, oh gosh, Mike Williams, I think is his name. And Mike was on, and I just loved his personality. I just loved the type of person he was. And then like I looked him up on social, and he was writing, like he had written a book, like he was working on a book. And I was like, I don't know, he just feels like somebody who is positive, somebody I'd like to have in front of my audience. And to be quite honest, this is when I start to shoot a shot. I mean, I just sent an email, and and I put everything together and asked him, will he come on my show? And he said yes. And so
Amazing.
he
Amazing.
was like my first video interview. It was a great interview. And I remember him saying this thing to me. And these are the moments where it's like God always puts somebody in the path to just encourage you. He said, Now, there is no way on earth that I would have known that you didn't do this full time. Because he said the communications have been so professional. Everything you've done has just been like, I've gone on other shows and I don't even get this. And I was just like, oh, I was like, well, I have to say, like, it's probably like all that corporate, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Experience.
experience I
Yeah.
have, and just sort of like me and how I like work toward excellence all the time. And I'm just saying that to say, like, keep doing the thing, keep being consistent in how you show up for yourself, even when you don't know if it's working. And immediately I was like, I don't know if people are listening, but I never set out with like, oh, I need all these people to validate me. I said, if just one person is touched by something we say on this show,
Yep.
or someone that I have on here, then I'm doing the right thing. And I feel like that's been the whole process, that, the path that God has taken me. Thankfully, I've been very blessed to like have never, I don't have to reach out. People reach out to me. I have a
Yeah.
waiting list for this podcast now, and it's been amazing. But just to be
I
able
love
to
that.
share other people's stories and their journeys has been like so fulfilling for me. I like I said, I never thought that I would be podcasting, but it's like one of the more fulfilling things that I get to do.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I love it so much because of this, because I get to
Yeah.
meet amazing human beings, right? Doing some really great stuff in the world. And that just it just lights me up. It's something that I
Yeah.
really, really enjoy. And, even though I'm doing like this big event right now and it's like 40 speakers and it's a women's event, it's like amazing. But um I didn't want to stop my podcast in the middle. So in between me
Hmm.
interviewing you, I have interviews with the speakers and so
Yeah.
on and so
Yeah.
forth. And it's like I can't just like let even though I have a long list of podcasts already recorded because I have almost
Hmm.
500 podcast episodes recorded, right?
Hmm.
So there's a lot going on, but I truly enjoy it. And I know that
Yeah.
you're really big on that, right? Like you're big on your purpose, right? Like
Hmm.
what is driving you? What is this life that you want to have? So
Hmm.
I'm wondering, like, because I know that you started and you were like, okay, God, you just like making me do this, or I'm gonna do it, right? So how can someone who's like uncovering what they want to do, like how do they get to their why, right? That core
Hmm.
reason that they
Hmm.
want to do this thing. What do you recommend to the women that you lead
Hmm.
to dig deep and get into that why, especially if maybe they feel a little stuck, maybe they feel a little
Hmm.
disconnected, right? Let's
Yeah.
help them with that.
So I will say this, and I know it's probably going to sound like something you've heard before, but I think it's really true. I say you have to lean into the things that bring you joy. Like
Mhm.
you have to lean, and you have to lean into your unique qualities. So the thing, like, you're one of a kind. There are things about you that nobody else, like no other person, isn't a replica of you.
Right.
And so one of the things that really helped me was doing like a Strength Finders assessment. I did Strength Finders like few years, like probably like 2016-ish was the first time I experienced doing it. And then it was just like, oh wow, like these are things that I do. And you start to sort of see these trends, and like, one of mine is like futuristic, sort of like visionary, right? And it's
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
I started to celebrate the fact that I was somebody who dreamed really big, and somebody who didn't mind throwing something at the wall to see if it would stick. And and while somebody, and living in a like a fantasy, right? Because well, being like this big dreamer, like I was like, you know what, I shouldn't look at that like it's a bad thing, because it allows me to be creative.
Right,
And
right.
while yes, in my everyday life I have to be very focused, very organized, very structured as a marketer and as a leader of people, but when I get to Glow Up Girl, I get to that creative side gets to
Yeah.
always come out. I get to be like, oh my god, I could do this, it could be that, it could be all these things. And I would just say, like, you look at what you want to bring to the world. I think it always starts with, for me, my goal was, How do I make the world better? How do I leave it better than I found it?
Mhm.
And that is like the why of all the things that I work on. Like, it's only Glowup Girl is only because I want this world to be better. I want the women in the world to be better. I want the men who listen to be better for the women in their lives.
Mhm, mhm.
And so I think you just have to sort of start there, and you have to look at the things that people tell you about yourself. Look at the things that you know to be true about yourself first
Right,
and figure
right.
out, how can I turn this into something? And I am going to be one of those people to tell you, and Neena, I know we talked about this too. I'm going to be one of those people to tell you, like, don't go for the money first. Don't look for the money grab first. Look for the thing that is going to fulfill the purpose that you see for your life and how you want to help other people.
Yep.
And then it will come, because I certainly did not start this business and I wasn't making any money. And I remember my husband saying to me, he's like, yeah, but all that you want to do, it sounds good, but how are you going to make money? And I was like, well, that'll come. Like, right now, I just need to be worried about doing the thing that I feel that I've been called to do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
And
agree with that.
then you figure out, like, get a coach. Like, I will say it, like, invest in yourself, get a coach. And you can get a business coach, and they can help you figure out how do you extend it to make the money. But as long as you come with a pure heart and an open mind about, like, what it is you want to bring to the world, like, that's the start. And then you can
Mhm.
find people to help to build, put in your community that can help you to figure out, now how do I turn that into something where I can do this for a living?
Yeah. What would you recommend for them, those who are listening who might be just fearful, right? Because I think one of the things, like, 'cause I help women create coaching businesses, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I help them, like, think of the idea, concept, build it, and off we go to launch. And I see a trend of things with fears and limiting beliefs and
Mm-hmm.
not thinking you're worthy, like all that. I'm very curious about what you're seeing as you're bringing, people into your ecosystem and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
what are some of those challenges. But how do we get them to push anyway despite the fear? You know what I mean?
Well, let me tell you something that I did, and as long as I've been, like, working and working this business, um, affirming yourself. That's something that for me was really big when I was writing. I have a glow book. It's called the Glow Book. It is produced by Glowup Girl. It's like it helps you set goals. It helps you to affirm yourself. And it's just a way to hold yourself accountable, right? It's a
Mm.
tool to hold yourself accountable. What I would say when I was writing in my book at the end of last year, one of the things I realized is that one of my love languages is um, words of affirmation. And I was, like, always looking to be affirmed by, like, oh, for my husband to tell me, like, oh, this, you did a really good job, da da da, or somebody at work to say, oh, this is really great. And then I thought to myself, and I affirm people. So I think that's why it's one of my luck, because I am always affirming other people. And it, like, occurred to me that it's like, so why aren't you just affirming yourself? Why are you waiting for other people to do it?
Mhm.
And so what I did is, right now I'm sitting in my office, and I've got sticky notes across this whole this whole area of affirmations. They're in my bathroom. And I wrote a goal for myself to affirm me first. I don't
That's
need to
so
look
good.
for somebody else to validate it. I
Mhm.
just need to do it. And I think one thing you mentioned is about people being fearful of, like, taking a step. One of mine here on my desk says, I will not let the fear of being seen hold me back from my dreams.
Mhm.
And I think so many times, like you mentioned earlier, so many times people are so afraid to take the step, because even when I started my podcast, I was, like, first afraid. I'm like, oh my God. The reason I didn't do video in the beginning, if we're just being honest, is because I was like, well, I don't want anybody judging me. I can do an audio, and then, like, nobody's going to care because they'll just hear me. And then if they're rude, they're just rude because they're like, I don't like what she says, or I don't like her voice. But then as I realized, like, a connection point is made with people when they can see who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then I just said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Whatever. I mean, you don't like me.
Exactly.
I mean, I always tell people I'm not for everybody. I mean, but I will connect to the people who I'm supposed to be for. And
Yeah.
so you have to just take a step to put yourself out there. And your community, like for me, it's about just having an engaged community. I don't care about how big it is. It just needs to be me meeting the people that need to meet me at this time of their journey.
So good.
It just might be for a season, or it might be for forever. But you can't fixate on the all the reasons why you shouldn't do something, because there's always going to be something to
Always.
stand in the way. Like
Always.
there's never a 100% all ducks aligned scenario where you're like all systems go. Most times you're like, oh, I'm not too sure about that, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Right.
So you just have to you have to find ways to affirm yourself, put them up on the wall, write them down, but speak them, because as I started to speak them for myself, I was like, look at this. I mean, and it's like, I know we just left January. That felt like it was like a year already.
Yeah.
But and I was one of those people who was like, "Oh my God, are we done yet? Like, what is
Right.
happening?" But what I will say is, even though it was a very trying and a very sort of stressful, long January, I mean, God showed up, and there were many moments for me that I left out of January with some new things, with
Yeah.
some new opportunities, and I am so thankful for that. And I feel like part of that is also just the fact that, because my affirmations are rooted in faith. I read all the affirmations, but I close with my favorite scripture, which is Jeremiah 29:11.
29:11.
Yes.
That's my favorite scripture. Don't
Oh,
you just love God? For
exactly.
I
And
know the plans I have for you,
yes.
declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to
Yes.
bring you hope in a future. And if you come and pray for
Thank
me,
you.
I will hear you. Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
I
Amen.
love
Amen.
it.
That's how we end all of our affirmation reading in the morning. Like,
So
because
good.
he is there with me. He gave me the idea to say, affirm yourself. It wasn't
Yes.
because I'm so smart. I mean, I mean,
So
like,
good. That's good
nothing.
advice.
Yeah. So that's what I would just
That's
say
good
is just
advice.
affirm you first before you look for that from other people.
Yeah, because there's a lot of dream snatchers, I call them.
Hmm.
And they don't mean to, but their dreams have been snatched. So they
Yeah.
snatch yours. And
Yeah.
so affirming yourself first is a really good tip for them, because I think that's something I should be doing more often as well. I
Hmm.
don't even think about it, to quite honest. I just kind of like, I wake up in the morning. I am grateful for all the things. Gratitude is a big piece of what I
Hmm.
do in my life.
Hmm.
But and then I spend some time in the word and spend some time with God and all that great stuff. And I never really pause to affirm, although I do like an affirmation prayer that I
Hmm.
have. I don't know if you heard of this app called Parrot,
You were
but
telling me about
oh,
that.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So I put it on Parrot, and then, I actually what I did was I had recorded and put a little bit of, like, meditation music behind it,
Mhm.
and then I just play it, and I just
Mhm.
play it, and I just play, and that affirms me, because
Mhm.
it tells me, God loves me, that he wants me to be
Mhm.
sound of mind, healthy in body, and abundant in resources,
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
think that if you could spend time with people who, also, maybe not think like you, because I don't like group think, but
Right.
that actually, can support your vision or know what it is you're doing. Like my husband doesn't really understand the coaching world, and he
Mhm.
doesn't understand that world. So to sit down and talk to him about it is almost like,
Yeah.
he's not gonna really give me, he could give me some feedback. Oh, you look great, or you sounded great, or you could have done
Mhm.
this, but he really can't
Yeah.
experience what you and I experience as an entrepreneur, just studying and getting the no's, or maybe feeling that rejection, or
Mhm.
or getting that new client, like all those feelings that come with it, right?
Right.
So I love when you when what you're suggesting is basically surround yourself even with your own words, so that
Mhm.
also you can start trusting yourself, because we don't trust ourselves
Right.
sometimes,
Yep. We
you
don't.
know?
Yep.
And I think it's because we broke too many promises to ourselves.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to the gym, but you don't go. So now you don't trust yourself. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go, start a diet and lose weight. Well, you don't do it, and then you don't trust yourself. I'm
Mhm.
gonna not have this person in my life because they're toxic, and then you keep them in your life, and now they're toxic. They're like those
Mhm.
kind of things, right? And
Yeah.
so we got to learn to trust ourselves. Do you feel like affirming yourself like that has given you trust within yourself?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like trust and a confidence builder.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Because it's like I know that I'm setting the day. Like I expect good things every day.
That's so good.
Like I expect something to happen like good every day. And it's then you start to realize like even the small things that
Mhm.
most times we would just look over because it's like, oh well, it happened. But if you just allow for yourself to be open to the small wins, and
Yeah,
I know we say that a lot to people, like celebrate even the small
because
wins.
it's true though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like our the world we live in is just like it's not wrapped around like celebrating small things. It's only like we can only celebrate the big thing.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta have the big win in order for us to be happy for you. But nope, I'm celebrating just the small like the small things. It could be like, oh my God, I got all those emails sent out today to confirm all the guests for next month's show. I mean, because that takes time and it's like admin work that I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I have to do it at night.
Right. Yeah, no, it's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And you know that I actually agree with the small win thing because I don't care who you are on the planet, you always have to start with something small. It has to be a small step, each time.
Mhm.
And I know that these big gurus tell you that you're going to be wealthy in 90 days and all this other stuff and they're selling you a bag of beans because the truth of the matter is it took them 20 years to become an overnight success,
Mhm.
and all of us are in this, if you, especially if you're in a mindset of community and building and coaching and all that kind of stuff, you're in this for the long haul. And if you
Mhm.
think that you're in this for a quick buck, you probably want to go try something else,
Yeah.
because we're more, I this is just me speaking, but most of us who are in this space is for service,
Mhm.
right? And then the money will come by sponsorships or whatever it is that we get. But you don't start there. It's like you said, you started because you felt it. It was an inkling. You heard God. You just did it,
Mhm.
right? So
Yep.
tell me where Globe Girl is going now. Where are you going? What's the future
Whew.
look like in your
Well,
imagination, in your beautiful world?
I mean, it does definitely look bright, right? So, a few things. So, obviously, there's the podcast. There's always going to be a podcast. You mentioned evolution earlier. I definitely want to continue to grow that. It's a resource area on the page on the website right now where you can go and you can find resources for like professional development. You can find things to help you with your business. I will admit I have been a little slow in getting things updated on that site, but there are a lot of good resources there, and I'm definitely looking to grow that more. One new thing I'm venturing into is just because it is about community, and I am really trying to meet people and meet women where they are, because one thing I realize is that while yes, the world is open again and people are out doing things, there are a lot of people who are still feeling lonely
Yeah.
even in 2025 now.
Mhm.
And for me, I am starting, you're the first person hearing this, Nina. But I have a new little venture coming. It's called Girls on the Green. And it's girls, GYRLS, just like Glowup Girl. I love golf. And I
Oh,
am
cool.
looking to sort of help bring women in who may have said, I don't know, maybe I'm interested, but I don't know. Is it expensive to play golf? Or I don't know where to start. And it's going to be like a series of
Oh,
just like
fun.
how to's, how to get going, how to get started. And then, like locally where I'm from, I live in Atlanta. Locally, there'll be some meetups where you can just come out and you can just try it. Like, you don't have to buy clubs. You could just come out and see if maybe it's your thing, or maybe you just want to be there because you want to be around other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's one thing that I am working on in the background
That's
as
really
well.
fun. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of those things where like I grew up. My dad played golf, and I have always enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed watching it. I got some clubs a couple of years ago, so and I've been doing a lot of like practicing in the backyard. I've got
I love it.
some few, and I started going to like the range a little bit last summer. But this year, I'm like, you know what? Nope, we're gonna do it. We're gonna go. We're just gonna go full steam ahead. And like I said, as I mentioned earlier, I do feel like God gives me these ideas, and
Yeah.
I was in the shower when I heard like go ahead and do that thing, because there are women who are looking for community and they're
Mhm,
trying to figure
mhm.
out how they can come, like how they can find other people who have a similar interest. So yeah, so I'm just gonna keep pushing forward, building community, finding great women and men just like you who I can put out there to my community and have them tell their stories, be celebrated. Because
Yeah.
listen, just as much as it's important for someone to come on my show and share, it's also important that they be celebrated for the work that they're doing. And
Yes.
that's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, I think that and you do that well, by the way. And you're right about your podcast. When the gentleman told you, have you been doing this a long time? Because you are very professional at what you do. I truly enjoy it. Enjoyed being on your podcast. I enjoy your podcast. I listen to it. So, thank you so much for what you're spreading out in the world and how you're helping women, because that's my thing too. And I really love that. And, there's a different mindset that goes into this because I grew up, excuse me, I grew up in like, poverty and, I grew up in the projects, like all that stuff, right? And it was always a different mentality, this scarcity mentality, this competition mentality. And as I started to grow in corporate and also develop my business and become a six-figure business and all that kind of stuff, I realized it's about collaboration. It's about uplifting each other. It's about really pushing each other up instead
Mm-hmm.
of pushing each other down. And so when I find powerful women out there doing their thing, I'm always like, girl, love what you're doing. I love it. Can I be on your show or can I come, into your space
Yeah.
because I love what you do? And so, and you're just so gracious and like, absolutely, let's have a conversation. So thank you so much, Kyra, for having me on your show, but also thank you for coming on my show. I really
Yes.
appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I was
This
so
was fun.
excited. Yeah.
This was really fun. But before I let you go, I really want people to know how they can connect with you deeply. So let us know how they can,
Yeah.
support you and follow you and all of that great stuff.
For sure. So the site is glowupgirl.com, and that is GYRL. And then we're on Facebook at Glow Up Girl, Glow Up Girl ATL. Instagram is mostly where I am, Glow Up Girl. We're on TikTok. Also, if you want to send an email, you can send an email to hello@glowupgirl.com. Make sure you check out the podcast.
Yes.
Anywhere where you listen to podcasts, you can find it. And also check us out on YouTube.
Yes.
So if
Now we
you
can check you out on
Yes,
YouTube.
if you're
That's
like,
right.
I wanna let me see these people because I mean, there's generally some fun things happening. Like, I mean, I'm expressive as you can tell. I talk with my hands and I make faces. So if you're listening, you're like, what? I wonder what's happening. Like,
Right, right.
it's always that kind of party. So yeah, so
I love it.
make sure you check us out. And Nina, again, like, yeah, it has been just honor like being here with
Thank
you. I
you.
picked up tips just today, like from being here in your space. I'm like, okay, I need to do this. So I'm learning. So people listen, just pay attention to the people who come in your path
Yeah.
and learn from them because I'm learning right now and through this show from Nina and things that I can implement into my own podcast.
Yeah, and always, and I mean this, keep me as a resource. I've been doing this for decades. Blah. Anyway, I've been doing this for a long time, and I love to help though, Kyra. That's the thing. Like I always tell like other women that come in my space and stuff. I'm like, do you need help with that? They're like everybody's afraid to ask for help. Like, oh, what are you gonna charge me? I didn't ask you to for me to charge you. I
Mhm.
like actually want to serve. I have clients. I'm good. Like
Yeah.
if we want to help each other, we should be able to do that without it having to feel like like a
Yeah.
sales pitch. You know what I mean? But I
Yes.
mean that, Kyra. Like if there's something like you're like kind of stuck on something, or you're like, I wonder if I can, or how does that happen? I would love to be any type of resource you need. So just keep
Thank you.
that in mind. Okay. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
being here. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me.
Thank you. All right, y'all. Told you, Kyra. I told y'all. I done, man. Hey, I told you to buckle in. If you didn't buckle in, I'm sorry if you're flying all over the place. Now, make sure that you go ahead and follow her. I'm gonna list all of her information below. I'm gonna make sure to have all the links for you, everything you need. Because when somebody comes into your space and just like blesses you with wisdom and knowledge and know-how and all that stuff, it is time to pay attention. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that beautiful stuff. You know what to do. This is Neena Perez, straight talk, no sugar added. Until next time.